Hi guys, we're back. We're doing green now, so let's get straight to it. First card, Pins Yugen. I don't know why people call her pudding. I guess it's because she likes pudding. Anyway, when this attacks, if you have aim well, which is the stock soul, in your climax zone, search and oh okay, and you have another green character. Oh, how difficult that is. You may pay the cost, which is one. If you do, search your deck for up to one boat girl, add it to hand, and this gets 6k to the end of your opponent's next turn.
2K.
2k, yes, sorry.
6K. Oh my god.
My bad. It is
so
a 6-5 until the end of your opponent's next turn. How
so
about
it's
that?
it's GFB combo.
No, because you don't have to reverse and you have to pay.
Yes, but the GFB combo gets the pump for free.
Yes, but the GFB combo has to reverse.
Yes. So trade-offs.
I think this might be.
I like the GFB combo better, honestly.
Well, that one snowballs better, but this one is has a much higher floor. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean like GFB you can fail to reverse something and then die.
yeah, I mean, GFB, you aim to stock soul and then triple trigger non-climaxes, and then you're well on your way to snowballing.
And then
This
you're
card
8-5 on their turn, you just laugh at them.
Yeah, this card is kind of like
It's
uh
closer to GFB yellow card.
no, it's closest to the Deramas yellow version, I guess. But at the same time, this is 6-5 on your opponent's turn. That card is not necessarily big on your opponent's turn.
Stock Soul is a nice climax for this to be on though.
Look, here's the issue. I think paying one for each of your pluses right now is borderline inefficient. Like it's not good because you don't get continual compression. It's not good because excuse me. It's not good because it removes snowball opportunity. And it's also not good because you have other things you want to be spending stock on, which compounds this as a weakness even further. So if you want to play Hibiki, you'll be losing stock from that to go plus. This is also obviously a one cost plus, but you can only play so many one cost pluses before you start worrying about your stock and not your hand.
If
So Hibiki is a one cost plus. Amagi is a one cost plus. This is a one cost plus. It's really painful, but I don't think this is compatible with Amagi. And then Japan is just going to play four of both and prove me wrong. And I'm going to look silly, but also know that Japan is doing something very, very incorrect.
I think I agree. I can't imagine myself being able to play this and Amagi and have stock to play level threes. Especially if you do end up playing some number of early plays. Like, there's no way you can support all of that with zero stock, basically. There's no way you can. And this is coming from someone who did play with that Amagi effect with to Loveru at one point, and like stock was an issue for that deck. And that was even with four stock souls just being jammed whenever I had the opportunity. This card is playable for me. It's not much better than playable, but this is definitely incompatible with certain cards. I definitely wouldn't play this with Hibiki myself. I don't think you can afford that.
I think Hibiki is so good that you need to play it right now. Otherwise, you're just going to get
No,
healed
I
on
need I need
forever
to
and
tell
ever.
everyone to stop playing Hibiki so I can start playing Index again.
Hibiki beating Index is enough reason to just run Hibiki.
Stop it.
Prince Yugen is
But yeah, playable is what I'm gonna give it.
it's a very solid card. I think it's actually just a straight up good card, but it's incompatible with so much else in Kantai that you need to make a deck building decision and you need to be firm with it. You can't be greedy. Otherwise, you're just going to have a lot of games where you just do like, okay, sure, you have like one game where you get everything, you triple cancel, you have stock, and you're really happy. But then you can have the games where you have nothing. And those are going to be very common if you just play all of these greedy good cards that don't work with each other due to costing so much stock.
So moving onward to Bismarck, you're gonna see this art a lot.
Bismarck, 3295. If you have the level 0 Bismarck in clock, this gets neg 1 level in hand. I'm not a fan of this early summon condition because it's bad when you're behind, and it's It's fine when you're not behind, but if you're ever behind, it feels awful. When this is placed from hand to stage, check the top three cards of your deck, add one to hand, put the rest in the waiting room. It's fine. It's not quite Amity, but this has got more text as well. When this attacks, if you have the bar combo, which is a hilariously recycled piece of art, is in the climax zone, stock the top two cards of your library, and this gains 3k for the turn.
Gold bar, stock soul.
Gold bar.
Gold bar.
Sweet. Um, Combo seems fun. I don't like blend stock though. I don't know why they couldn't just give it the effect that they're giving to all the new stock generators, which is put fleet girls into stock from waiting room.
Because that's stupid, and we don't want that to happen.
What they've literally done that for like everyone since Madoka.
Not for double stockers.
Yes,
No.
I could have sworn that that was the case in the 2-1 in Puyo.
Uh, yeah, you're probably right, but that's the only double stocker we've had since like
Madoka.
LB.
But this card seems like fun. I don't think I'd play it, but it seems like fun.
Japan seems to like this card a lot. I can understand liking this because it's got some insane potential.
You
And
definitely
it
run
plays,
Yamato Kai with this.
yeah, it plays really well with Yamato Kai. It plays really well with the level 3 Prince because you can just pay out all that stock immediately. Uh, there are a few problems with this. The first one is it has no power on defense. That sucks because that's not what you're looking for in an advanced summon. It needs a really average card to be in your clock in order to advance summon. Like Amity was fine because not only did Puyo have a whole bunch of other good plays at level 0, namely the runner, but that level 0 was fine. This one I don't think is good at all. It's nothing but downside after level 0. And yeah, that's honestly all I have to say about this card in terms of being bad. Stop top deck, stock charging from the top of your deck is fine. I see no issue with it. It's not guaranteed, but it's fine. You can pay it out. There's no issue with that.
I definitely consider the card to be fairly powerful. As long as you can, pay out your stock fairly quickly, you don't want to bury it.
Yeah.
The downside for sure is like, I don't think I really want to be playing this at level 3. Like, I'm definitely just treating it as a 2-2 if I'm running it, and that can be kind of an issue sometimes.
Well, no, you can play it as a 3-2 simply to get the combo off and use it with
Immediately with the Prince, right?
the Prince level 3. But at the same time, I don't know if you really want to be double ramming for 3 query 4.
Yeah.
That seems
I definitely, like, I'm going to be incredibly disappointed if I draw this at level 3 in the sense that, like, I wish I had it when I was level 2.
mm,
I mean, like, at the worst case, it's a 2-soul beater, which is never terrible, but it's definitely, like, far more impressive if you manage to play it early.
yep.
Unlike certain early plays, which are, like, fine in both cases. I mean, in the worst case, it's still a 2-drop, 2-soul that also replaces itself in your hand immediately. So there's that.
Look, I like the fact that it's an early summon cantrip. I don't like the fact that it's tiny. And
I'm going to give the card playable plus, personally.
I'm just giving it playable simply because I hate the next card.
Yep, player.
That's fair.
So the next card is Bismarck. It's the 0/0 you have to clock in order to early summon Bismarck Dre. It's a 0/0 4K. When this is placed from hand to stage, if there are 3 or more climax cards in your opponent's waiting room, rest this.
Yeah, this card is not even up for consideration if it wasn't tied to level 3. So in that case, I just have to give it playable minus on its own merit. And it only becomes playable because you need it for the level
It's not
3.
niche. You only play it for level 3. There's no reason to play it otherwise. You have better 4Ks that don't...
Niche is actually probably a better place to put it. Even if you didn't have better 4Ks, you also have a stock bomb in this color too, or clock bomb in this color too. And the clock bomb has shift.
You've got Inazuma, you've got Ikazuchi, you've got Hibiki, you've got
Inaduma.
Ushio, which was the clock bomb. You've got so much green. Oh, and obviously you have Akatsuki. You have so much green. So much green.
You're not running this for fixing. You're running 4 of this because you wanted to get the early play, and then you're just like sad.
I hate this profile. It's nothing but a bad card once you hit level 1. It's just actually bad. But the fact that it has worth after level, even if it is forced worth in the form of being an advanced summon condition, that pushes up to niche for me because level 3 is quite powerful if it gets going.
So when do the American ships come out? Because I thought the Abyssals were supposed to be American. I heard they're doing like an actual American expansion.
Yeah, they have an American ship.
Hmm.
She has large
There are
breasts and is very American.
How does that work? Because I thought the Abyssals were supposed to be American, and this
Oh
was
no,
just
the
all
Abyssals are
Japanese
like
propaganda.
aliens. They're aliens or something.
One of them is called Midway.
Some
Yeah.
of them are like based off like the dead ship girls, supposedly.
But
Yeah,
but one of them
they're
is
the
literally named the Midway.
yeah, okay. They're the World War II ships, whereas the new American ship is the 21st century modern cruiser, something or other.
Okay, so the Abyssals are still just the bad guys from Kantai is still just like Japanese propaganda.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Why else? Why else do you think it took off? The Japanese are the most nationalistic country in the world.
Gotta prove to the Americans that we were right after all.
Nationalism. Next card. 1-0 is U511. She's a submarine. When this attacks, it gains X power, where X is 500 times the number of opponent characters, so this can theoretically go up to 6-5 on attack, which is fine, I guess.
I played cards with that profile. They tend to be very mediocre because they die.
Yeah, well, this one has something that happens when it dies. One
Woo!
cost each card. When this dies, or specifically when it goes from stage to waiting room, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose a row 500 in your waiting room and put it rested in any slot on the stage. Row 500 is a 2-1 climax combo that we'll get to soon.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty good card.
So this card on its own merits is mediocre. The other card pumps it up, so it's niche.
Yeah, the fact that this goes to a very, very powerful card, I think puts this into solely into playable for me.
Let's see.
Or rather,
Let me
we
double
could.
check.
I mean, it's two cards.
It feels slow.
It is slow. It is absolutely slow, especially in a deck with Amagi and Akatsuki.
It feels too slow for it to be more than niche to me. I don't feel like this is a viable alternative to other things that you want to be doing.
Sure. I think you'd rather be playing Prince, even though I think row 500 is extremely good, like very good.
I do think I'd rather be playing Prince than row 500.
Yeah. It's just, it takes a while to get out at level 1, which is where you really want it, and it's not actually big enough to withstand the best advanced summons, so you can't stand up to Deramas, you can't stand up to the Monogatari level 3s, you can't, like, even Onodera probably just straight up beats you nowadays, because they all played a 2-1 plus 2k support. So, Ro is fine, but only as level 1 play, which is very slow. We'll get to her very soon, though.
Alright. Beanley, niche or playable?
Playable.
Alright, let me update your rating. Alright, next up, it's an assist 2k.
Graf Zeppelin Kai.
She looks like a Kamega Kill, like the main character from that. Or not main character, Estes. That's it.
Oh,
Like,
Graf Zeppelin Kai is a 2-1-5-5. She gives 2k to all level 3 or higher in front, and she has 2 cost, tap this, add a card from clock to hand, then clock yourself from deck.
I really hope that I lock in that image for everyone forever now. But,
I'm not even looking at the card.
I'm sharing my screen if you want to see.
Oh. I don't know, that doesn't remind me of anything. She just looks like an emo girl.
I mean, I'm just thinking, like, S-Death because, like, they have the same hat.
but she doesn't have blue hair.
She doesn't have blue hair, that's pretty big.
Yeah, the hair is different, but remember, I read the manga, so I, like, kind of color it in myself.
Yeah, sure, but I still color it in as blue because the color pages have it as blue.
Dude, I, like, barely pay attention to color pages anymore. It's like, ooh, colors, and then move on. Anyways, on its own, this makes some of the level 3s that are previously mediocre more playable. The pay 2 plus is reasonable if there's like something important in your clock, like a compass. Or, for instance, that 2-1 event. So it seems reasonable there as well. Like, pay 3, search 3. I'm okay with that. I'd do that. It only costs me 1 card in hand.
I think this is only playable as the plus 2k in front.
I don't know. I think both sides are playable. I think the plus 2K is why you're playing it, and then the pay 2 rest of this is plus side.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's this extra stuff that sometimes becomes relevant. Like, sometimes you do need that compass out of your clock, and you're willing to pay 2 for it. Other times you can't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it also like plays pretty well with the Bismarck. It means that it doesn't suddenly just die to everything on defense. So
I think this is only good because it works with advanced summons. Otherwise, I would not give it the time of day. That second effect does nothing.
well, second effect is good sometimes. I've used that second effect sometimes.
Mm.
Like, sometimes you do have a climax or an event in your clock that you need to get out. Like, would you pay 2 to, like, make sure you're refreshing that climax in your clock at level 2? Like, sometimes that happens. There are fringe applications.
I don't know. I only think this is niche. If you really like your advanced summon and wanted to stick around, for example, the yellow one, Taiho, I think plays well with this one, simply because neither of them have any significant condition. I think Bismarck plays well with this one, simply because Bismarck is puny on the opponent's turn. Yeah, what can I say?
Yeah, I actually give this card a playable.
Yeah, it's playable.
Playable.
Alright, next up is the row class. This is... my freaking god.
Yeah, Voclass is she's the token brown lolly. She's 2/1 7k. For each of your other boat girls gains 500 power, and when it attacks, if you have row class submarine, I forget which climax this is. It is the bar. It's another bar. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, bar's good.
So, um,
It's look at top 4, add a card to hand, and then this gains 2k for the turn, so it goes up to 11k if you have a full board.
around that. Mm-hmm.
So it's actually very large. You get a free plus. My biggest gripe is the one I was talking about. It is outrageously slow to do at level 1. Like, really slow. And if you're doing this at level 2, you're probably not running Bismarck, because then you're talking about competing climax spots in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you want this to be your level 1 play, but
Yeah.
it's really slow for that.
My main issue is that it takes freaking 8 slots.
Minimum. And then, like, at least another 3 in the level 1.
I don't know about, yeah, like 8 slots is not even 8. Let's say 10 slots.
Like
10 slots is 4 of the climax and the 3 of each of the 1/0 and 2/1.
Yeah, you're running a lot of cards to make this work, and you're talking about a card that has a 2-turn payoff. It feels like I wouldn't run this. It feels way too slow, and it feels like you're getting set back in the damage race unless you have multiple climaxes in your hand, in which case you have multiple climaxes in your hand. Because, like, I definitely just want to jam a climax at level 1 and then jam another one at level 2 if I have the resources available to me. But if I need to hold on to a climax for an extra turn, just so I can get a combo off the following turn, sometimes it's just not good enough. Sometimes you're just too far behind. Never mind that this card isn't free. You're still paying the stock for this. You're just paying for it with an attack the previous turn. So, like, it's just so slow.
Yeah, that's my main issue with this. It doesn't come down unless your opponent lets it come down, and even then, like, there are ways to stop it from happening. You can top deck this. You can.
No. The 1/0 discards is part of its own cost.
I'm aware. I'm talking about that.
Yeah.
You can top deck the 1/0. You can clock swap it. You can do all sorts of rude things to it, and then Rogue Pass doesn't come down.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This card, it's niche for me. The whole combo is niche for me because it feels like you could run it, but it takes up so many slots for it to be viable.
It's just a solidly playable card, in my opinion. It's if you could run Haguro before, this card is almost a strict upgrade, aside from the field counter thing.
Except the field counter thing is nice sometimes, and being able to get anything versus just
Was it? I don't think the deck is going to care about field counters nearly as much anymore.
Well, you had access to the 1/0 Taige as well, since you're running blue.
Yeah.
The whale was also nice.
Yep. I'm still giving it a niche. I think it actually takes too many slots, in addition to being too slow.
Yep.
Yep.
Prince Yugen Kai. This is the level 3 version of Pudding. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may put the level 1 Prince from your waiting room under this as a marker. When this attacks, if it's got a marker, it gains X power, where X is 100 times the cost of the character opposite this. So
100.
1,000 numbers, what are they? We'll get to that in a bit, but 3 cost, discard a card from hand. When this reverses its battle opponent during a turn it was placed from hand to stage, you may pay that cost. If you do, restand.
So 11k costless restand, or
It's
not
fine.
costless. I mean, climaxless restand. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, the cost means that I guess it's disproportionately good against Toma relative to other claw kickers. Good against Dragon.
I think this is splashable. It's neat. I think that the X where the gaining power
Being 12k is super good.
it's only okay. Since most level 3s played these days will still be able to counter over that quite easily.
Yeah.
You'll need the
You're still probably running the 2-1 frontal
yeah,
2k.
you'll need Graf Zeppelin for this to really guarantee anything. And even then, sack counters stop this, as they do with a lot of things. So I think this is a good splashable finisher, and that it should be run in any deck running Prince, which is probably going to be most of them. But at the same time, you can't rely on only this. You'll definitely need Musashi as well. You'll want to diversify. You'll want to do the LB thing where you've got Musashi and then you have an on reverse finisher as well. So having these two plus anti-heal puts you with a really strong late game that I think is going to be difficult for a lot of decks to deal with. Granted, I think this is a very expensive cost, which is why I value Bismarck a lot. Like that's what
Pay
I've
3 ditch 1 isn't terrible.
well, compare it to say LB's Clock Kick, where you just ditch a card.
Sure, but this restands. This is not a clock kicker. This is a restand.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it's on reverse, which is why I call it comparable.
Yeah, but I mean, you're paying more because you get an extra attack. The potential for greater damage is what you're paying for.
I suppose, but it's also more vulnerable to things like anti-damage, which is very prevalent, especially if Kantai is big. So I think it all evens out.
Sure, but I mean, like, the cost is not the best argument for me. Because I mean, like, if you had a playable, splashable, like, restand, you probably don't run it in LB because you have a really good claw kicker. But I mean, like, the cost is like what I'd expect from any restanding character that doesn't have a climax attached to it.
I think that's fine. I agree with that. But at the same time, I still think you should play something like Bismarck to enable it, or one of the 1-0s we're going to talk about soon.
I wish this was more like the Anastasia from CG, where you just get it from the waiting room instead.
Yeah,
Well,
that
everyone
insulates it
does.
from anti-damage, but that also doesn't do the probably three soul that you want to do.
It doesn't feel nearly as
yeah.
fun as doing it with like 2 lover, but you have to pay 6 stock for that, and then you get two soul beaters though. I guess that's worth.
Mm-hmm.
That combo is hilarious. This card is playable plus for me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep.
It's solidly playable. I think it's about the same in terms of Musashi as Musashi in terms of playability, and it might actually be better, depending on what your choose one of three is.
They're equally splashable, so
Yeah, it's splashable, which is fantastic.
yeah, they don't take
Assuming
any.
you're playing Prince.
I mean, they don't take any climax slots, but this is definitely more of a commitment to your deck if you choose to run it. Just because it does mean that now you're definitely on Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
Next card is Z3. Wow, that's a weird card. When you pull up, you may pay 2. If you do, search your deck for a fleet girl, add it to hand. Pardon
Bless
me.
you.
And tap this, give a character 1/5. I
Uh,
really like that second ability. That's a really good ability.
Second ability is fine. First ability is pretty mediocre, especially when you have on climax placement. Look at the top 4, pay 1, add 1 to your hand. I don't think I'd run this just because I don't think the utility of the first ability is worth it, and I don't know if I care enough about power on the second ability. I think I'd rather have some sort of global power bump, or even just like consistent power bump, especially when you're running 6/5s on both turns. I'd like to have something that goes for both turns. If you're running Prince, again, everything comes back to if you're running Prince, I'd rather have something that pumps on both turns.
I think the pump 1/5 is very good, but at the same time, it doesn't do anything else on the opponent's turn. You might be better off just running a support of some sort. I don't think you need to reverse anything anymore in Kantai, so the 1/5 is like whatever. It's a nice ability in a vacuum, just in context. I don't think it's very good.
I think I'm going to go with playable minus. You could play this, and you wouldn't necessarily feel bad about it, but I don't think you should.
I think I'll go with niche.
I'm going with playable.
Alright,
Oh, here we are. Stupid card.
next up.
Jinsu Kaini. It's a 0/02K. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may clock the top card of your deck and discard a card. If you do, add a climax card from your deck to hand.
This card is great.
This is just absolutely stupid.
This card is really good.
Why does it exist?
So that you don't have to run 4 copies of every climax. So if you ever thought to yourself, why wouldn't I just run all the climax combos, right? They're all so good. Well, now you can't.
Yeah, I'm very unhappy about this card. Not only does this ensure, like, if you go all in on a level 1 combo, which you can with Ayanami and Sendai, this basically makes it always happen. And if in the case of Sendai, it even means you get a body to swing with. It's not a fair ability. You should never be able to fetch a climax from your deck for free in an age where climax combos are as strong as they are now. Even if the cost is clocking your top deck, it shouldn't be allowed, simply because you get such a huge return from playing a climax that this effectively reads costless plussing. Effectively.
I mean, you're paying it forward. You've clocked yourself to get potentially 3 pluses this turn. You're paying this. You're paying the damage forward. That's insane. You're not paying anything for the climax. You're guaranteeing combos. If you wanted to do something stupid like they do in Magic, you can run this and pretend their climaxes 4 through 8 for every other climax in your deck, or like you can just run one of climax combo in this, and you have 5 copies of that climax in your deck now.
Like, Jesus.
Like,
this card is an immediate 2 of in every Kantai deck that runs a climax combo.
Which is everyone.
Even the bar decks.
Yeah, might as well. There is no downside to having this in your deck.
It's absolutely obscene. I hate the fact they printed this. I hate the fact I don't have one. Oh my god, if LB had this.
Yes, now your 2 souls wouldn't be a problem.
They're already not really a problem, but this makes them not a problem at all.
Now your only problem is, like, your opponent leaves you at 0-0-6 or 0-5, and you're like, well, crap. I can't just Ricky clock myself and go off. This card is getting good plus meta, by the way, for me.
I think it deserves the meta rating.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm giving this the good plus. I'm giving this good plus meta. No, I'm giving this good meta. I don't think it's as good as a Magi in a vacuum, but in context, it is obscene. I'm not giving it a good plus meta, just good meta. It's an uncommon. The last good meta uncommon Kantai have ended up defining the game.
Something about Hibiki and...
No, I'm talking about Akatsuki.
Oh, sure. Hibiki was also an uncommon.
Hibiki was a common.
Oh, yeah. It was Barony that was a rare.
It was a rare.
Goodness.
I really hope they stop printing this profile. It is not healthy for the game. All it does is make every single game exactly the same and encourage greed from climax combos. And God knows there's already enough of that. Like, it's not reasonable. Right now, every single deck is around a level 1 combo, or is a specific level 1 wall deck plus or minus a combo alongside.
I mean, typically this kind of
effect... I don't think that level... Go on.
This kind of effect typically took up event slots before, and, like, not even cheap events, like, very expensive events. and that's the fact that you have this on a 0/0 body is just outrageous.
Yeah, no, I'm just no. I can't condone this card. I don't think it's reasonable to print, and I no.
I'd start with 2. I might even go to 3 if I think I need to be able to consistently get climaxes all the time. But yeah, this is insane. It's uncommon, so like it can't even be more than like 500 yen probably.
Hmm.
So it's not even like it's expensive. This is not a barrier to the deck.
This card is dumb.
All right.
Let's move on. Maya Kaine, 105k. Up to once turn, when you use a startup ability, this gains the ability when the battle opponent of this is reversed, you may put the top card of your deck in stock.
I guess this is what you use that tap plus 1500 card with.
Yeah, I was about to say this works well with the tap plus 1/5 card.
I don't think
Uh,
I want to be running both of those though. So
no, I don't think the payoff is big enough.
I'm putting this to niche.
It is notable that this extra stock gen at level 1 is kind of what you want if you want to run both Prince and Amagi and aren't if you want to run both Prince and Amagi basically. Because otherwise, in order to utilize Amagi to the fullest, you have to run a shell like
But what startups are you running in that deck that you can actually use on your own turn during the main phase?
startups.
Yeah, because you need to be able to use a startup to get the extra stock. What are you still running the 1/0 tap give 1500 then? In which case you can only get 1 plus out of the Amagi.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and I haven't really thought about it.
So
You're obviously running Yahagi. Duh.
let's not. But like, ideally you can use this to get more pluses, but ultimately trying to run this Anamagi and Prince puts you in an awkward situation. No, we're done with this. Puts you in a position where you can get max 3 pluses a turn anyways for 3 stock. You just end up with 1 more stock at the end of the cycle.
Yeah, but see, if you play Yahagi, then all of the issues go away because you have back row to tap.
Or Kashi.
Oh my god, please.
Look, it's an 8k attacker with clock on clock. It's pretty good. No,
What,
but
now you're only
seriously,
getting 1 plus.
yeah. No, you'd be getting 2.
No, you'd be getting 3 with Climax. But then you're also only getting
Yeah,
1
like,
reverse with, or one activation with Prince now. Doesn't seem great.
No. What you're doing is you're playing Shimakaze. You're playing 2 Amagi in the back row,
Alright.
and you're playing 1 Yahagi and 1 Maya Kaine.
So
There.
you're going to have 7
Pluses.
slots on the board?
No, that's 5 slots.
5?
1 Maya, 1 Shimakaze, 1 Yahagi, and then 2 Amagi.
That's still...
I'm screwing with.
That still seems bad.
It is bad. It's this is now that you say that, I'm like whatever. There's not really a shell that this fits in. So I think this is probably a reasonable niche card. I don't think it's playable outside of its own deck, and I think that you want to be running a good climax combo, which means you don't really want to be running something like this.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, okay, you know what the real dream is? You activate the 1500 on your turn, get a reverse. Your opponent attacks into you, you use a counter, you get another reverse and get another stock. That's the real dream. Just get 2 stock, because it's once per turn, not once per your turn. But that requires you to have good 1/0 counters for this to be worth it, which I don't think Kantai actually has.
Mm-hmm.
So
It has Furutaka if you want to show them your hand.
that seems bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So niche is where I'm putting this. It's just incredibly
niche.
awkward.
Yeah, let's go with niche. Anyway, Bismarck's Way. It's a 2/1/1/5. This is a pretty interesting card, to be honest. It's a 2/1 counter, which oh, actually, I seem to remember another set having this exact profile.
Oh, it actually is the exact. It's the recycle counter.
Yeah, it's the Michelle counter from Terraformers.
It's been a while. I
When you
cut
use the
that
backup
card.
when you use the backup of this, you may pay 1. If you do, return this card well, return a Bismarck's Way, first Bismarck class, from your waiting room to your hand, which is this card.
Ideally, I mean, if you wanted to get cute, you can put the other card into your hand. Fun facts: don't use this against the little busters. You'll shoot yourself in the foot for this. Fun facts: I cut this from Terraformers because it doesn't actually do very much.
I I don't know if that actually applies. I think
It
you might be
does
able to
because
salvage this.
no,
Is,
because it's in the battle step, right? And you've
yeah, but
countered.
it's,
Part of the
let
cost
me
is discarding this, so you're
I'm
returning.
aware you have to salvage, but is that relevant on yours? I don't actually remember the exact wording of Kyosuke.
Kyosuke just says if a player salvages during.
Oh yes, yes.
This
Yeah.
is really important,
Yeah.
by the way, because Kyosuke fucking destroys. And this is how important it is. I swore because of this. Destroys Index. Because
Yeah,
specifically the
what's on
Encore
Index
step
and
is part of the combat step. And specifically that means using your
Index
Index and
and
Hyokas just blows you out.
Yeah, good stuff. We all know that LB is Index's worst matchup by far. So, with that in mind, this card is a perfectly playable card for me. I still don't know if I'd play this over Zuiho
I'm not
or
playing
even
it over
Mill
Zuiho.
3 counter.
I'm not playing it over Zuiho. I would play this over Mill 3 if I thought I needed a reusable counter. I just don't think I need a counter. This I don't think I need to use this like 4 times.
Yeah.
That's the real thing. Do I need this 4 times? I don't think I do.
Akatsuki Kaini. So this card has one bullshit card and one unplayable card. The third card in the cycle is probably going to be in the unplayable pile. It's a 2/6K. It gains 1K for each of your other destroyers, so it might be a 10K. And it's got startup, 1 cost, choose a destroyer character. That character gains 1/5 for the turn.
Seems really mediocre.
Mm, if anything, I see this as a niche card. Like,
I mean, it is a
obviously,
niche card,
with the
but-
profile, yeah.
I think the thing about the destroy deck is after level 1, they have nothing. So this might actually fill a required role in
But
being
they have level 3 destroyers now.
Yeah, they do, but
Yeah.
that's level 3. Level 2, they don't have anything.
So there are
And
plenty of decks that don't run level 2s.
Yeah, but they don't. Yeah, but this deck also doesn't have an advanced summon level 3.
I'm still talking about 2 Lover here.
I know, but Lover is different because their ending combo is light years stronger than
Any other
Then,
deck in Weiss.
than this. No, not every.
Well, not
deck.
every other deck, but most decks in Weiss.
Then forgot the name of the protagonist, destroyer, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Fubuki, that's the one. Yeah, it's
Whatever.
much stronger than Fubuki. So Akatsuki might fill a needed role as a big fat elephant.
That still seems not great.
I think it's reasonable to give this a niche rating, because it is really big.
It is niche. I'm not gonna deny niche, but it's also not very interesting, so I'm gonna move on.
Finley?
Yeah, I had it as niche.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
do agree. That is what I think it is. The Z1's way. It's 2/7K. Up to once a turn, when you use a startup ability, this gets X, where X is 500 times the number of your other Fleet Girls, so this only gets up to 2K. And then when this attacks, if the level of the character opposite this is 3 or higher, it gains 3K until the end of your opponent's next turn. I think this card is just not good. It doesn't get big enough to actually kill level 3s, and unless you use a startup ability, and even then, you're not actually that big.
2/5, 7/9/5, 12/5. 12/5 is as big as you get.
Just 12K, because it's 500 times the number of your other.
Oh,
bird
it is
girls.
12k. I mean, so I guess you have to run the 0/0 tap 15, so you get to 14. 14 might be good enough,
I mean,
but
I
that
don't
means
want,
your opponent doesn't have a counter.
yeah, I don't want to run that and this just to make this sometimes kill level 3s.
Yeah, it doesn't seem worth it, and on principle, I just dislike the profile, especially when it doesn't give soul.
Yeah, I'm not enthralled by this card. It's
Um,
it's niche if you
would-
really need level 3 killer. I think might be the best one that Kantai has access to in
But
these
you
cards.
have Suiho, or whatever the counter is. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Niche
sure.
minus is
That
like
one
as
requires
good
you to
as...
punch yourself, which is really painful.
But you bottom deck it, so they can't even do Encore shenanigans.
Mm.
Anyways, Niche Minus is as good as I can give this profile. I historically give these cards bad, but I'm trying to be less, what's the word? critical of this archetype.
Prejudiced. I think
Prejudice might be a good word for this. I really hate this archetype. It's just not very good. It's always been underwhelming for me, and it's never felt like it's mattered.
All right. These are all the German ships, right? Yeah,
think
it's
so.
one.
It's the same art. Oh my god, please.
When this is placed from hand to stage, check the top card of your deck. If it's not a boat character, rest this. Rest this. If there is no marker under this, put the top card of your deck under this as a marker. Rest this. Put a marker from under this in your stock.
Alright, so do you like getting stock every 2 turns? You do?
I don't like this because
Kantai already has this.
Yeah, we already have Tenryu, and that one is confirmed non-climax.
Yeah, this card is like, it's like, do you like getting extra stock each turn? It's like, yeah, Kantai already has that effect. I wouldn't run this over that. And I wouldn't run that anyways, so... No?
Yeah, I don't think this is very good.
I think I'm gonna go with bad. It's not even like get stock every other turn. Sometimes you don't get your first stock for like 3 turns.
I think it's just outclassed by the red one. If you want a super stock charge,
Like there's the possibility that you don't even get your first stock for 3 turns because you flipped a climax just blind.
I agree.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with bad.
Yep.
I I think this has niche. If all you want to do is charge stock, you can have this and you can have Tenryu Tatsuda.
But you can just have 2 Tenryu Tatsudas.
Yeah, that's the eventual form of the deck, and I think this card does get outclassed. So you might want to put level 0 slots to something better.
Like anything better, really.
Yeah.
All right.
Furutaka Kaini, she got a downgrade. She used to be a counter. Now she's just. When this is placed from hand, she's still using this stupid effect. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may reveal your hand. If you do, and there's at least one climax card, one of your opponent's front row characters gets neg 2k for the turn.
So this is how you beat Hibiki, I guess, as well.
This card is bad.
Yeah, don't do this.
You have very little impact on the board unless you are specifically killing an on-reverse effect. You are revealing your whole hand to your opponent, and while your hand might change significantly due to Akatsuki, etc., it also gives your opponent perfect information for a while.
Admittedly, perfect information isn't as useful in Weiss sometimes as other card games.
Your hand changes so quickly, but it's still not something you should be showing to your opponents without thinking. Like, information is very powerful. Information dictates how you play the game. It dictates how your opponent interprets your plays, and it gives your opponent way more information than just the cards in your hand if your opponent is any good at interpreting it. And I don't think that's ever worth.
Yeah, this is not worth it. Bad.
Yeah. It's a Glutathione probe for your opponent.
Yeah, except your opponent gets to pay the life, right? It's like, I'm gonna look at your hand, you lose 2 life, I didn't pay anything, and I'm gonna draw a card after this. Like that doesn't seem like I wouldn't leave home without 4 of them. But card seems really bad. Moving onward.
Yep. Next card, Chokai Kaini. 002K. When it's placed from hand to stage, check 2 cards from the top of your deck, put them back in the same order. It gains 1. It's like a weird combination of 2 cards we've already seen, and neither of which were very good.
Well, the other one looked at your opponents. This one looks at yourself.
Yeah.
So this lets you operate with perfect trigger knowledge, or potentially lets you know that there are 2 climax on my deck, I should probably brainstorm.
I mean, that's fine, but I also don't think this is worth a slot.
I also agree with that.
I don't even want to give this a playable rating. I'm just going to give it a...
I think bad is reasonable for this.
I think so too, since if you're playing this, you're not playing a better green card.
Because, like, it's just, the information honestly doesn't really matter very many times, because, like, you don't necessarily get to do anything with it. It's not like you get to scry every time certain thing happens, so...
Yep, bad.
Yep. Next up is also a bad card. I don't know why I changed the rating.
002K.
Okay, wrong text.
No, it's this one seems okay. It might be the oversize of choice in the destroyer deck.
No, I accidentally just copied the wrong text, and that's why I was confused.
You know, this card has if there's a marker on this, it becomes a 3/5 level one. When this is placed from hand to stage, check the top card of your deck. If it's a destroyer, put it under this as a marker. So obviously niche for the destroyer deck only, but I think it's fine for that deck. Not great, like it's still not as good as a random 4K or even like a 4K mill 2 or 3/5 mill 2, but it's fine.
Well, 3/5 level 1, though, is pretty nice. You get to dodge a lot of level 1 bombs, so it's probably going to stay there on the field for a while, unless your opponent's also running 4Ks.
Yeah,
But,
but people only really run 4Ks oversized now because 4K is
well,
much
if they're running oversizes, they're probably 4K, but not every deck runs oversizes. A lot of decks just get by on bombs, clock bombs, stock bombs, and utility cards at level 0 these days. So this card is
yeah.
probably going to be around for a while. That is not necessarily all upside, though, because that does mean you will have fodder at level 1.
Yeah, no, fair enough. The fact that everyone is moving towards bombs does strengthen this, and yeah, I can respect that.
It's niche, but
Mm.
like keeping a level 0 is like it's functionally like a runner, except you don't necessarily have the opportunity to ram in early
Yeah,
to lose it, which is not great.
all right. Beamley?
Yep, niche.
Oh, you're still there.
Pretty much.
This card is bad.
Uh,
It's
wait,
literally the yellow card.
what? Did you call it bad? I think it's niche.
No, the following card.
No, the next card.
Yeah, next card, Ushio Kaine. This is a 2/5. When you level up, it gains Encore 1 for the turn. Absolute garbage.
Why are you paying to give your opponent something to reverse at level 1?
You're not because
You're not
you,
playing this card.
well, yeah, but it's when you level up, which means they're attacking you.
Unless you clock yourself to level. Boom.
At that point, you're just being really stupid. So.
Regardless, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, no, this is bad. It doesn't do anything.
Straight up bad.
Akebono
next up
is
is a
just
vanilla.
bad. It's
What?
vanilla.
One sec. I gotta get like the card art out for people who want to admire this vanilla, and we're gone.
Cool. Z3's way 1025 gives 500 to all your other fleet girls, and when you use a startup ability, choose one of your characters. That character gains 1K for the turn.
So green has like gone back to the startup ability stuff apparently, because this is like the 5th card with this kind of text.
Yeah, no, I don't think this is very good.
I guess you can still go all in on that 1/0 get stock sometimes.
Look, if you need to reverse something badly, then this isn't the worst thing you could ever do. And this obviously works very well with Yahagi, which is a staple in every single Kantai deck.
Stop it.
Well, it does.
Stop it.
I'm not incorrect.
You're just lying about part of it. This card is, in my mind, I guess you can build a startup deck, playable
Niche
minus or niche minus. Yeah, niche minus is probably a more fair way to put it.
You can't build a startup deck. You just build a deck with startup abilities.
Yeah,
Whatever.
which is any deck. So
This does turn your 1/0 combos into 1/0 counters into 2/5 counters, which I think makes this the best support for the destroyer deck because you're playing green anyway.
yeah,
Since the only counter you run in that is a 1/0 vanilla destroyer, because God knows you're not running like Furutaka, or I guess you can run the 1/1 destroyer counter as well. But this turns your Murakumo Kai counter into an actual counter.
all
So
right.
yeah, I don't even want to say niche minus now that I think about it. I think just niche is fine because this goes well in the destroyer deck.
Next up is the scrape profile that we've seen before,
Hatsushimo Kaine.
except on a way worse card.
It's a 1045. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may discard a card from hand. If you do, add a boat girl from your clock to hand and then clock yourself.
This reminds me of this great effect that made Two Lover very, very broken at level 0. And this card is not that.
I suppose, but that also came on a brainstorm.
There
A
are
good-
many reasons why that card is better.
Yeah, this card just does nothing. It's a
First,
1045
yeah.
with no ability.
1, it was a brainstorm, but 2, it also was a level 0, so you got to get started early.
Yeah. This card is just it's whatever. I think you have better discard outlets in Kantai of all
What, you
things.
have infinitely better discard outlets. Just
Yep.
Akatsuki alone is not worth running this card.
And your clock is a pretty sparse resource that you don't really care too much about. And this one doesn't even let you take events, so
It only lets you take Fleet Girls. I'm gonna give it playable minus.
I've got it as niche. I just think it's not good.
Yeah, she has niche.
Playable minus means a lot of things, but in this case, it
Very
means very, very unimpressive.
Okay, next card, Bismarck Kai. How many cards does this chick have?
I don't know, but most of them have this exact art.
1055. This ability activates up to once a turn. When you use a startup ability, this gains 1/5 to be a 7k. And when this is reversed, you cannot use Encore for the turn.
I
It's
mean,
fine.
waifu deck,
You need startup abilities. If you want to make
waifu deck, I guess. I mean, it's still only 107k
Hmm.
for
Oh, there goes
commitment.
your-
You need commitment to this to make it work. Like, it's not worth.
There
Like-
goes your Yahagi clock encore.
yeah, you are correct. This plus Yahagi plus counters is
Nambo.
very formidable.
And then your opponent runs a level 1 bomb, and you're just like, oh god.
Clock Encore.
But you bomb this and your Yahagi.
Play another Yahagi.
Stop. I'm gonna go ahead and give the card. I think this card is niche at this point. I'm gonna give most of the cards with S's in their
I think
text.
It's perfectly playable. Like it's
No.
still just. I mean, because you're playing Yahagi anyway.
God damn it.
Kako Kai Ni. It's a 107k. Oh, this has been a while since I've seen this. When this is front attacked, put this in the waiting room.
Alright, so the last time I remember seeing this was Tsukasa waiting for the manger.
That one had a clock bond.
Yeah, that card was better.
It had a clock bond and it still wasn't played.
Well, keep in mind, there's like 4 people on the planet who own this deck.
Good point. And then,
Like, one of them has it with fat cards too, so...
look, this card is good because it denies on reverse, but at the same time, your opponent can run a level 0 in and just murder it. So
Bad.
I can't be inconsistent here since I gave Hamikaze a playable minus.
That's false, because this is always going to die.
Yeah, okay, fine. But that might be a good thing.
Bad.
I will give this a... It's not bondable or anything.
It's
so
too
I can't
late.
Rating, it's bad. Alright.
Yeah.
Graf Zeppelin, it's a 1/1, 6k. If you have 2 or more other boat girls, so 3, it's a 7/5 level 2.
Doesn't seem great, honestly.
Doesn't seem bad either. I'm not I'm not impressed, but I don't think it's awful.
Yeah.
I think it's playable at best. Just playable.
Yeah, I think just playable is fine. People seem to like the 1175 Mayoi from Bakemono, but that's mostly because she has Encore. This one, the plus level is neat, but not every deck will be trying to kill this with bombs, so whatever.
Alright, and... yeah,
Hot metal. It's a
niche is
2/2.
fine. But,
This next card is a 2/2. Search your deck for 2 boat girls, add them to hand, and shuffle your deck.
I'd rather be running the 2-1 event that counters, and
I mean, look, I'd rather be running like
sometimes gets me
any
many
2
things.
cost plus. Any 2 cost plus would be better.
The 2 cost, pay 2, get a card from Clock. That card is better.
No, I don't think that card is better, but
Yes, it is.
look, I don't think this card is playable. I just don't think it does anything.
The second you've considered putting this into your deck, I would immediately like you to reconsider and put the 2-1 event into your deck instead.
Yeah, no, that is a very reasonable way to put it. Let's call this bad.
Like, if you've at all considered that I want the pay 2 plus 1, I would just like to point you to the pay 1 potential +1 at counter speed.
All right. That finishes up green then, right?
Yes, that is it for greens,
Yep.
so we'll be back at some point with the next color. Probably shortly.